Hello, everybody. It's Caroline. Today I wanted to talk about, well, the name of the video is The Armor We Wear. But really, what it's about is what happens when you bury your emotions too much and put on an emotional suit of armor to the point where your body rebels on you. Um, it's also a story of anxiety and depression. So I was a pretty sensitive kid, and I guess somewhere along late teens, no, not late, early teens, I somehow subconsciously realized that if I didn't toughen up a little bit, the world was just going to eat me alive because that's how sensitive I was. But you know what? I did too good a job. I became very much on the surface, nothing bothers me. And to a point, that's true. I kind of go with the flow. But I buried things too much. So, nothing bothered me. Um, Sorry, microphone problems. So, so fast forward to my 30s, and I got involved in a relationship with a man and lived with him for several years. And I'm not trying to say he was a bad man, but we were very poorly matched. He was very, very, very black and white thinker, black and white, right and wrong, no nuance, no in between. And I'm by nature, I'm just the opposite. I think in shades of gray. And sorry if that sounds like a book title. um, so I lived with him for several years, and I adapted to him and tried to be what I thought he wanted me to be, which is always a bad idea. Um, and it was very, very hard on me emotionally. And the times I would let my true self show through, I would basically get a pretty strong tongue lashing. I would say was borderline on the A side. So after several years of that, we split up. I moved out, which was a good thing. And so I kind of, moved out and let my guard down. And when I did that, I kind of went manic for a while because I was happy to be out of it. But I kind of went, after stuffing everything for 3.5 years, I kind of went, wee, went out partying all the time, basically had a second adolescence. And I had a lot of fun, but it was a little too much. And of course, what goes up must come down. So eventually I crashed and went into a pretty good depression, not horrible, but it was bad enough. And eventually I started coming out of the depression, and all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I started having panic attacks. um, I had to take time off of work. I went to go see the doctor, and I started on medication and therapy and all of that. And in the end, it worked out well. I was probably only down for like 6 weeks. But I remember telling one of my sisters about the panic attacks, and she was shocked. She said, "What, you? Nothing ever gets to you." And I guess that was kind of an eye-opening moment because I was like, really? Nothing ever gets to me? Is that what you think? So I guess that's how well I had built that armor up. But, um, you build your armor thick enough and deny your feelings strongly enough, and eventually it's going to leak out, sometimes in a really bad way. Um, and for me, the nervous system just went haywire. So I guess everything has turned out well in the end with that. I still, to this day, I'm on medication and stuff because, that's a whole other topic. There's a family history of depression. So I think I should have been on medication for a long time before that. But in any event, I guess I've learned that, strength, strength is good to a point, but I kind of have had to learn how to integrate my sensitivities and my feelings with that strength, and learn where strength is appropriate and where vulnerability is important. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who have been through something similar. And let's talk about it. Alrighty. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.